Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, I've got about 22 minutes before I clock in, maybe 32 depending on the 10-minute limit. But I thought I'd come on here and know this is not being live streamed or anything. I'd rather wait to have a little bit more time to do that, so yeah, I'm not really live streaming right now. But basically I thought I'd come on here and give you my thoughts on last night's WWE Extreme Rules event. Here's the thing. I didn't catch all of it because, of course, I was resting a little bit and, just doing some other things. And then I started reading about the results happening online, from the kickoff show and everything, and, through Twitter, through DeluxeMan, OTR Central and all that. And I'll probably go back and watch the kickoff show perhaps later on. But yeah, I didn't watch all of it, but from what I can understand, the opening matches were all right. There were some surprises, and I do apologize for the win, guys. But there were some surprises, like the B team winning the tag team titles. Now I don't know if the B team's going to hold on to the belts for a while, or if it's just like, okay, they win, they've won the titles, okay, now tonight we're going to take them off, put them back under the leaders of worlds. I don't really know. My only assumption as to why Bray and Matt lost the belts is to kind of be like punishment for Bray because of what he did, and I guess because of Matt's association with Jeff, even though Jeff's on SmackDown. Because they're brothers, of course. Matt probably lost the belt because of what Jeff did. And then on top of that, afterwards we had Balor against Corbin. Not a lot of people are really digging the smiling Finn Balor or the Constable Corbin deal. I mean, some could say it's growing on them, but honestly, I just think they're just doing it because they need to give Baron something to do, especially if the plan is to still push him as a big star. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. My assumption is Baron's going to get sick and tired of being a constable. And the way WWE works sometimes, especially with certain writers, and there's a rumor Paul Heyman is a writer behind the scenes for Raw now. So if things go the way we think they could, this whole constable thing is going to slowly start turning Baron into a face. Because I don't know why, but usually these kind of storylines lead to the person that's been put in the position that Baron's been put in to become a babyface and go against the authority, go against those that put him in that position. So is it going to lead to that for Baron Corbin? I don't know. I can't really say, but right now it looks like that could be a possibility as far as Constable Corbin goes, as Baron's position right now goes. But yeah, he loses to Finn Balor by roll-up. I'm assuming that's what it was. So if we get another match out of these guys, it'll probably be on Raw tonight, or it'll be next week on Raw. It'll be something. And I have a stipulation. And what's funny is, I talk about the whole anti-authority deal, and how Baron Corbin might be led into that direction. It seems to setting Finn up, for something big, because he's basically on the pre-show called Stephanie McMahon his enemy. Why would you call somebody your enemy when she hasn't really done nothing to you, except maybe in your eyes put someone like Baron Corbin in a position of semi-power, if you will? Why would you be against her? I don't get it. So my only guess is if they're hinting at something with Finn Balor versus Stephanie, a Finn Balor versus McMahon kind of deal, that they might if they let, like I said, if they let the right people behind it, they might have something good on their hands, if that's what they're hinting towards, because it looks like that way to me. The other match I didn't see was Carmella and Asuka with Ellsworth in a cage. Let me stop this here. I want to talk about both this match and Alexa Bliss's match at the same time, because because right now I could definitely tell you without a shadow of a doubt that a lot of folks are getting sick and tired of Alexa and Carmella being on top of both women divisions. It's like, how do I put this? It's like almost a slap to the face of what the women's revolution is in the eyes of a lot of the fans, because it's like, okay, both women are good when it comes to promos, but in-ring wise, that's still a lot to be desired. I mean, if you were to compare the two, if you wanted to do a comparison between the two, there's no doubt Alexa would win as far as in-ring performance goes. Being an in-ring performer, an in-ring athlete, if you were to compare the two, Alexa would win. But again, both Carmella and her being on top of the women's division for as long as they have, and as for as many times in Alexa's case as she has, in just a short amount of time she's been on the main roster, is a slap in the face. Because, like I said, if you compare the two, Alexa's the better athlete, but the way they're portrayed is basically, in the eyes of the fans, in the eyes of a lot of fans, they're being portrayed more as divas holding women's wrestling championships that are meant for women wrestlers. In other words, a lot of fans are looking at them being the champions, holding these women wrestling championships hostage, when they shouldn't even be touching those championships at all. Which is why, a lot of fans are always upset when Carmella sneaks away with her championship, whether it's against Charlotte or Asuka. Now, a lot of people are hoping that this is going to lead to her losing to Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. Oh, she's going to lose at SummerSlam, but she's going to lose either one-on-one to Becky, one-on-one to Asuka, maybe one-on-one to Charlotte, or she might lose in a four-way women's matchup. Because think about it. What is the one way Carmella can't get away or sneak away with her championship? What is one of the ways? Having her defend against three other challengers in one match. Because without a shadow of a doubt that throughout the match, all three women are going to target her and tear her apart. That's what's going to happen, and then they'll focus on each other. Now you might say, well, wouldn't that basically mean Carmella will retain? She'll just take advantage of a situation, crawl on top of the knocked out woman that is going to take the pinfall and win? Yeah, that might be that does sound like, another way for Carmella to keep the championship. But let's look at it this way. This is SummerSlam coming up. SummerSlam is probably the biggest event of the year, and usually if WWE plays their cards right, especially when it comes to certain bookers and writers for certain brands, if they play their cards right, usually SummerSlam is a night in an event where a lot of things can happen. And if you think WWE wants to get one-upped by their own NXT brand, the previous night that's going to hold TakeOver the night before in the same building, if you think they're going to want to get upstaged by NXT, you're wrong. So what's going to happen is they're going to pull out all the stops, hopefully, for this to be a SummerSlam people will actually enjoy. Now, at a runtime of almost 5 to 6 hours, that might be impossible, but that's why I think the reason they are building up Alexa and Carmella the way they are is so that at SummerSlam they will get squashed or they will be defeated. Because we already know when it comes to Alexa and Ronda, Alexa's going to get squashed. They're setting her up to get squashed. And as far as Carmella goes, she might get squashed by either Charlotte, Becky, or Asuka, or all four, depending on the situation. But we know SummerSlam is going to be the last event that both women are going to have those championships and have them, and be the last time those women have those championships for a long time. So what I'm getting at is I would not be surprised, I would not put it past WWE to start a storyline, if not the exact same storyline, if not identical parallels or similarities on both brands. Well, basically the challengers to both Carmella and Alexa call them out for being what this women's revolution is not, and that's divas. They're nothing but divas pretending to be wrestlers. You know, they need to, in my opinion, you really want to get heat on Carmella, you really want to get heat on Alexa. You have Ronda Rousey, you have either Charlotte, Becky, Asuka, if not all three, call out Alexa and Carmella as being what they really are. Nothing but Barbie dolls, divas, pretending to be wrestlers because they can't get the job done on their own. And you know what? If you really want to get heat on the women, on those two ladies, Carmella and Alexa, have them admit it. Have them admit that, yeah, you're right. We are divas. We are divas in holding that are the Raw, SmackDown Women Champions. Yeah, we are divas. And then maybe if you really want to, like I said, get heat on them, have them throw it back in the faces of Ronda and, you know, Charlotte, Becky, Asuka, if not all the women's divisions, and say, well, so are the rest of you. And you know what? I would say give it to both. If not, give it to Alexa. Have one of them drop a pipe bomb or a bombshell, basically mocking this whole women's revolution. Have one of them come out, drop a bombshell, and say this whole women's revolution deal is nothing but a joke. It's just the WWE trying to jump on the bandwagons of the Me Too movements, the SWJs, whatever. Have them do something like that. Have one, if not both of them, do something like that. And I guarantee you the heat, the nuclear heat these women would get for that would be tremendous. And you're going to want, and by giving them that heat, you're going to want to see Ronda. You're going to want to see Charlotte, Asuka, Becky, if not all three, squash and destroy these women at SummerSlam, so that you never see these women around these championships ever again, because you don't want to see divas holding women's wrestling championships. So, as much as we didn't like seeing it at Extreme Rules last night, Carmella did beat Asuka, and Alexa did beat Nia. But it's setting up, like I said, it's setting up to basically both of them being destroyed at SummerSlam. And maybe a stipulation might get thrown in there that if they lose, that until they drop this whole diva persona, neither one of them can have a shot at the championship or any championship ever again. I'm just saying, to me, it would make sense. It would make a lot of sense. Now usually SmackDown likes to give the fans a little bit more of what they want. So I would not be surprised that if Paige comes out, maybe even along with Shane McMahon. A leaf fell on my arm. Sorry about that. I thought it was a bug. Like a grasshopper or something. Anyway, like I was saying, knowing SmackDown, they might have Paige come out this Tuesday, maybe even along with Shane McMahon, to really put importance on the situation, and have one, if not both of them, come out and address what's been happening with Carmella, and have both of them announce that next week on SmackDown, Asuka's going to get one more shot, and that there's going to get one more shot, and we're going to see, and on top of that, we're going to get a clear-cut winner, because stipulation will probably be all superstars, including Ellsworth, are barred from ringside, and if Carmella tries to get herself counted out or disqualified, that'll count as much as a pinfall submission, and she'll lose the title that way. So, if SmackDown is showing that, if the SmackDown creative team is showing that they are a bit better than the Raw creative team, then that would probably be the best decision. Because here's the thing. Yeah, you would love to see on a big stage like SummerSlam, Carmella get squashed. Doesn't matter by who. But think about this. You want to set up, you know you're already going to have a big squash match. But here's the thing. You already know you're going to get a squash match for a women's championship on the Raw side of things. So why not give us a competitive match? Why not set up what people want to see? Charlotte, Asuka, or Becky, Asuka at SummerSlam, if not all three at SummerSlam for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Think about that. Why not go that direction and then help SmackDown pop a huge number if you want, or a decent number, by having Carmella in the main event, the last match of the night, lose to Asuka clean. Basically show in front of the world on SmackDown Live that without help, she can't beat Asuka. And that she's not, and that all she is a diva playing wrestler. I mean, I think it's a good idea. Either way, I think it's a good, like I said, I think it's a good idea. Either way, whether it happens in 2 weeks on SmackDown or at SummerSlam, Carmella's not going to have that championship for much longer. And come SummerSlam, neither is Alexa. And I guarantee you, after it's all said and done, neither one of these women will even be close to that either championship ever again. Because if you want to really impress your future home for SmackDown, and you want to show that, hey, we're moving forward with this women's revolution, we're committed to it, you basically have women like Alexa and Carmella out of the title picture for a while, maybe transition them back into what they're normally known for, and that's being managers, being valets. It would make more sense. So, in my opinion, I think that's what WWE needs to do, and hopefully that's what they're heading towards. I mean, why else would they keep the belts on Alexa and Carmella? I'm just saying. Now, as far as the rest of the night goes, Braun Strowman, Kevin Owens was okay. I mean, I think the Lex Man said it best in his live review that they could have done a little bit more with it. But the moment, and yes, Kevin Owens did win, but he won in a way that still made Braun Strowman look strong and basically unstoppable. What they did, I wouldn't say it was a reenactment. I would say more of the fact that it was paying tribute. It wasn't a reenactment, but to me, I think it was paying tribute to the 20th anniversary of what happened at King of the Ring in 1998. Basically, at the end of the match, Braun Strowman breaks free of the handcuffs, chases after Owens all the way to the top of the cage, grabs him by the throat, looks down, looks back at Owens, and just chokeslams him, tosses him by one hand off the cage onto the announce table, basically not reenacting but paying tribute to the Mick Foley Mankind situation from King of the Ring. And I'll give Kevin Owens props. He will sell like a mother you-know-what, if need be, against the right opponent. He will do that. he will do that. He will sell against the right opponent, like a mother effer, if you know what I mean. So yeah, Kevin Owens wins the match, but also loses because he gets, stretchered out with a stretcher. The only way they can top that is tonight, if Brock Lesnar shows up or Paul Heyman shows up, have Braun do it again. Now you might say, well, tonight if Brock shows up, Braun can cash in. We don't have to see Brock anymore. Or after tonight, right? Get a pop, get a huge number. For Raw. Get a huge number for Raw and all that. Do that kind of stuff. It would work, right? Here's what I think's going to happen. Paul Heyman, storyline-wise, is going to come from Vegas to Buffalo, get in the ring, call out Kurt Angle about his ultimatum that he gave Brock Lesnar. Because in case you guys don't know, Kurt Angle basically said, hey, if Brock don't show up tomorrow night, or at least get in contact to negotiate his next title defense, he's going to strip him. He's going to strip him of the belt. Here's what I think is going to happen. I'm hoping it happens. I could be wrong. Paul Heyman shows up, calls out Kurt Angle, gets in his face about this whole, you just put us on last minute notice or last second notice. We weren't prepared for this. Ain't no way we're going to do this. No. That's when you have Kurt Angle basically come up with a trump card saying, I think you will. Then you hear Braun's music hit. And of course, Paul Heyman, when he gets confronted by those kind of guys, is going to get scared. And basically you have Braun Strowman basically scare the living heck out of Paul Heyman by coming down, and then you have Paul Heyman, okay, fine, SummerSlam, Brock will defend his title. You have Paul Heyman right then and there announce that Brock Lesnar will defend at SummerSlam against whoever the number one contender is. You go with that. You do it in a way to where if you want to go Braun Brock at SummerSlam, you have Braun Strowman come out and confront Paul Heyman, maybe even hit him with a power slam to send a message that, it'll be the last few times we see you guys in this company because we're sick and tired of your BS. So, again, it's still, Braun Strowman doesn't win the cage, but he ends up still looking strong. Then we get Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley. Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley, it was okay. I'm not saying it was bad, it was okay. Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley was alright. I saw most of the match. There were parts I had to leave my room because my mom needed some help with some things, so I couldn't catch all of it. But but for what it was okay, and Bobby Lashley wins. Bobby Lashley wins with something that he usually used in TNA, and that was the spear. He's used mostly in TNA, and when he was in his prior run with WWE, he used the spear, beat Roman Reigns. And if they're setting up for Lesnar, that's good, because it would play into what Lashley's saying. Hey, I'm more legitimate. I have the more legitimate tools to beat Brock, because guess what? I know how Brock freaking thinks. He's thinking like an MMA fighter and not a wrestler. So you need an MMA fighter to go up against him. So to me, I think that makes a lot of sense if they go with that route. Then again, we don't know. All we know is Brock is defending at SummerSlam. That's all we know. Against who? A lot of people fear it's Roman. I don't know. It would sound great. The only saving grace, I think, is if they have Brock go into another Fatal 4-Way like he did last year with Braun, Bobby, and Roman with his championship on the line. That's the only saving grace if you're going to put the belt on Roman. Only saving grace. Okay. The other match I didn't get to see, but it was interesting in its turnout. Shinsuke Nakamura, Jeff Hardy. Basically while the referee's back is turned, Shinsuke hits a low blow, and as soon as the referee turns around, so low blow, referee rings the bell, Well, Jeff, I guess, says he's okay to go. Shinsuke hits the Kinshasa, pins him 1-2-3. Shinsuke Nakamura is the new United States champion. And again, I think it's the same thing with the Raw Tag Team title situation. It's punishment. It's not only punishment for his DUI, if you will, or DWI, but it's also the fact that he's a little banged up and he needs time off, or at least a little time to rest up. So, yeah, you want to keep your championship on television, you need to get it off your current champion. But then the main topic of that situation was the aftermath, because Randy Orton, who apparently was hidden for most of the night, nobody knew he was going to be there, shows up, gets in the ring, stares down Shinsuke Nakamura, then grabs Jeff Hardy by his legs and does a stomp right into his nuts, and then walks off. Now, we don't know if this is a heel turn, if Randy's sending a message to Shinsuke. We don't know, because I don't know what it was. Maybe it's me, but it looks like they're turning Shinsuke back into a face to feud with a heel Randy Orton. And if that's the case, hey, that might be interesting. The other SmackDown Championship match that night was the Bludgeon Brothers against Daniel Bryan and Kane. Apparently, earlier in the night, the Bludgeons attacked Kane and Daniel Bryan, injured Kane's leg. So Daniel went out on his own to face them for a majority of the match. Kane did come out with a cast on his leg, or with a boot cast on his foot, I should say. He came out, tried to help make a comeback for the team, but it was all for naught. Daniel Bryan ends up eating the pinfall, thanks to the Bludgeon Brothers. And yeah, they retain the tag team titles, and I think they're setting up the Bludgeon Brothers for the Bar. I think the Bar is going to come back, possibly as baby faces, because you got more heel teams right now than you do baby faces on SmackDown. So yeah, I think the Bludgeon Brothers are going to be facing the Bar next, and I think the Bar might be the ones to take the titles away from them. That being Sheamus and Cesaro. Then, of course, we had AJ Styles and Rusev for the WWE Championship. It was good. I will give it that. There were times I thought maybe they would give Rusev the win, but that didn't happen. AJ does win at the end, and I love his reaction. It's like he's getting sick and tired of Aiden English interfering. So towards the end, he does a baseball slide into English, knocks English into the back of the announce table, gets onto the apron. You see this look in his eyes, like, this is it. It's like he's pissed. He is done with the BS. Hits the phenomenal forearm, gets the pinfall, 1, 2, 3. But Rusev, give him credit. He gave a gallant effort. He fought a gallant match. He even kicked out after he hit a exposed turnbuckle with his head, and AJ hit a springboard 450. He still kicked out. So very interesting, very cool on the part to do that for Rusev, to make him look strong even in defeat. And then we had the Iron Man Intercontinental Championship match. It looked like at first it was going to be a total one-sided affair, but then of course Drew McIntyre gets involved, beats up Seth just enough for Dolph to gain basically not one, not two, but 3 pinfalls to tie it up, and then eventually Dolph hits a 4th pinfall to take the lead. But then as the match is going on, Seth is able to get the 4th pinfall by doing a slingshot into a turnbuckle on Dolph and turning that into basically a sunset flip. So yeah, they're tied at 4, and they end up going basically into sudden death, because Kurt Angle's saying we ain't gonna end like that. But as soon as they go into sudden death, that's when Drew shows up again, distracts Seth, and Dolph ends up winning the Iron Man match and basically the main event of Extreme Rules, which I'm sure they'll play upon with Dolph, because his thing is he's the best, no one can do what he does, and only the best should main event shows. And hey, I would say if you really want to get people to go against him, play off the fact that he's going to brag, hey, I won in a main event, proving only the best in-ring performer should do it. see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. But overall, looking back on Extreme Rules, it was okay. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was just alright. Had some shiny moments, had some not so shiny moments, and like I said, with the women, I think they're honestly setting up both ladies to get destroyed between now and SummerSlam. If Carmella gets destroyed maybe a week from now on SmackDown Live, a week from this Tuesday on SmackDown Live, she ends up losing the title then to Asuka finally, you know, third time's a charm kind of deal, and then that sets up Becky Lynch and Asuka, or Charlotte Asuka, then so be it. If they're gonna wait till SummerSlam to do it, maybe in a fatal four-way for the championship, maybe fatal four-way elimination, I would assume that would be the best way to go. So be it. And again, you know, they're definitely setting Alexa up to get squashed by Ronda at SummerSlam. So yeah, if you're fans of Carmella and Alexa as champions right now, enjoy the run as long as you can, because come August 19th, that'll be the last time you see either one of them with the championships for quite some time. Not saying they would never get the titles back, but I think for the next several months after this, they're going to pretty much be out of the title picture. So, but really, that's all I got to say on Extreme Rules. Let me know what you guys think down below. I got to get back into work, and I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care. I'm out.